Retail horror. In the mid-'80s, I worked at a Toys R Us in Sunnyvale, California. Even before I started working there were rumors going around for years that it was haunted. I didn't really care. I didn't believe in that sort of thing. And I had just gotten married, and my husband and I were starting out our lives together, so I just needed the job. My first 6 months there, I would hear all kinds of weird things. There were customers who would come up to me as I was checking them out at the register and tell me that when they were in the bathroom and they were the only ones in the stall, all 3 sinks would simultaneously turn on by themselves. And the second that they stepped out of the stall, all 3 faucets would turn off. Back then, we didn't have motion-censored technology, so I had no explanation to give them. They were night crew workers who refused to work alone in the toy aisles because they swore that that's where the most paranormal activity took place. One woman on the night crew quit because she swears that she saw a Raggedy Ann doll fly off the shelf and hit another employee in the back. She claimed that it was not the first time that she had seen something like that and wanted no more part of being around whatever happened to be lurking there. Other employees reported toys being out of place at night when they were the only ones there that could have moved them. Several customers had complained that someone in the puzzle and games aisle whispered their names and blew into their ears. Now, myself and several of the other front-end cashiers, we just thought these people were trying to get attention. You know, teenagers would come in with their mom and dad's cameras and try and capture this supposed ghost. No one ever did. At least, no one ever came back to show us anything. One evening, my fellow cashier Donna and I were asked to stay after closing for a meeting. The meeting ran late, and Donna and I had planned to get a drink afterwards. I called my husband to let him know, and I told Donna I'd be right out to the car after I'd used the bathroom. It was almost surreal still being in the store that late at night. It had a creepy vibe despite the fact that I didn't believe any of the stories. As I turned on the faucet to wash my hands, I looked in the mirror. My hair felt all of a sudden prickly, like static electricity prickly. I watched as my hair slowly lifted upwards in the mirror, and then I felt a hard tug and laughter. I clutched my hair to my head and ran from the bathroom and heard a bouncing sound behind me. A red ball from the toy department was bouncing by itself towards me. I can't even explain how terrified I was. It sounds nuts. I ran outside the door to the car. My head was still sore later that night from my hair being tugged so hard. And the creepy laughter, I still have problems getting it out of my head. I told Donna what had happened over our drink that I really did end up needing, and she admitted that she too had seen some strange things, but hadn't want to admit it. For the next 6 months that I worked there, I became like the others. I'd only use the bathroom during the day when I knew that there was someone else around. Then I quit the store altogether when I became pregnant with my first child. I was fascinated when a few years later, in 1991, psychic Sylvia Brown was part of a television special that highlighted our haunted Toys R Us. She formed a seance where she connected with the spirit and was told that the store had been built on an old ranch and that the spirit's name was Johnny, and he had worked for the owner of the ranch and had also fallen in love with the rancher's daughter. When she eventually rejected him, he was devastated and he never got over it. Sometime afterwards, he had a bad infection that left him slightly brain damaged, but still competent enough to continue his work. One day, he accidentally hurt himself badly while chopping wood and bled to death. No one in the seance was able to see the spirit, but his picture, or what is deemed to be him, can be seen in a photo that was taken with special equipment. The store has recently closed, as did all other Toys R Us stores. You have to wonder if the spirit of Johnny is still there and will haunt whatever happens to be built there.